Okay, hello.
Greetings.
Greetings. Yes, I'm here today with a very, very special guest, my only dear, lovely brother, Catalin, or Cat, or
Yes.
Kata, as I call him. And we met today, and we had this wonderful discussion about different memories, and especially through the light of the power of laughter.
Hmm.
So it's funny because interesting enough, I read this story of enlightenment actually, about three monks from China that all they would do would be to go from village to village, and all they did was to laugh.
Oh,
They were laughing together, the three of them. And people would gather and would be puzzled, like, why are they laughing? Nobody could figure out why they were laughing, but they kept laughing and laughing and laughing. And eventually, the laughter got to be contagious, and everybody would laugh with them. They wouldn't know why they were laughing, but eventually the whole village, would join in that laughter, and that was extremely powerful. So this is actually your story, Kata, and I'm going to share this story where when we were children, back in Romania, there was this TV show,
married with children.
Married with Children. It was called Bounty Family.
Bounty
The
family as a
Bounty Family
translation.
translated exactly. So it was every evening at 7 p.m. And every time when I go back to Romania and I meet my childhood girlfriends, they remind me about the story with Catalin. And when the show would start at 7 p.m., Catalin would start laughing so hard that the whole building, it was a U-shaped building, everybody could hear Catalin's laughter. So my friends would know that it's 7 p.m. They would turn on the TV because the show will start. So they didn't need an alarm for that. They need to remember. They didn't need to remember. They would just hear Catalin's contagious laughter, and then they would start the show too. So you are one of those. You are the fourth monk, I guess, Kata, with the power of laughter. And so tell me from your perspective, what laughter does to you first. What is it to you? And then how have you noticed that actually, when you are in that space of laughter, what impact it has on others?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just humor is just so multi-dimensional. We were just chatting before. It seems like about coping mechanisms, and it seems like I use humor as a coping mechanism. So it could be that I'm in a good mood and we're in line at somewhere where we were in the city, and you're using kind of humor as a chit chat. If Or it could be that you're meeting a person that you might not like, and you're using humor to kind of cope with the situation and stay away uh, from a negative, or use humor to diffuse tension. So if you feel tension in the air, a little humor and change the subject, and that can work. But it's what you're referring to with that story is the laughter when you're laughing out loud, and and this is like
Whole
your
belly is
stomach is vibrating.
exactly.
Like I've seen what the funny things that happen to me, and I've seen friends laugh so much at me that they're holding their whole belly because you're convulsing with laughter, and then it starts, you're like, can't you go back, right? And like, it's uncontrollable, right? So I think that's what you want. It's almost like a mini orgasm when your body's convulsing, and it's like
And
some.
the science actually shows the physiological benefits of laughter, and one of them is that it creates this internal massage. So it
Oh.
really massages all the internal organs, and it's so beneficial. It adds with the flow of energy and activating and bringing the internal organs to life. So this is actually you've been experiencing this personally, and it's especially when we laughed with the whole body, with the belly. It's that belly laughter that is very healthy. It's the best rejuvenating mode, and many other benefits. Actually, there are many studies on the power of laughter, including especially for healing. So studies with cancer patients, and healing through the power of humor, of laughter. So people that would choose, even in terminal stages, would choose to stay just in the kind of the positive, very beneficial space of humor and laughter, and they would watch lots of comedy. They would connect. They would choose in the environment only what's positive, and humor. You are right. It especially when it's about conflict. It tends to work like, the power of breaking the glass of conflict and tension. And humor and laughter especially comes almost like that soprano sound that it's so so strong. It has so much power that it can break the glass of tension. It diffuses, deflects. It just shatters the tension. So again, talking about science and studies, even in marriage conflict, it's a very good ingredient with children. Like, the idea is to be able to not to take things as seriously. When we are in a conflict or a tense situation, we take even very insignificant small things, like who put the cup here versus on the other side. We take it very seriously. It feels very personal. It feels like a personal offense, where somebody disregarded us, and then I told you not, exactly. I told you not to put that cup there, and you did, and now it broke. So when
I told you.
And so through humor, when we bring humor, we actually take some distance from the situation, from what could feel very serious at that time. It's actually one of the most powerful way of transcending. And we were talking this morning about the map of consciousness of David R. Hawkins.
I was surprised to find out how high it is on the vibrational scale.
It's a very, very high level. So again, the scale is from 0 to 1,000, and the heaviest levels are below 200, starting with the level of 500, the level of love. And especially 540, where it's the unconditional love, is the gateway, is the opening for true spirituality and transcendence. So laughter, humor is at level 540. And it's the same level with unconditional love, the same level with joy, and the same level with gratitude. So it's a very, very powerful level, and it has the power of transcendence. Again, it's when we break the glass of the ego, if you want. We lighten up. We don't take things as seriously. But we take that distance, even in a very practical way. We were talking earlier about, you diffuse the situation, or you deflect it. So you refuse in a way, you respectfully decline to enter the space of conflict. So then you lighten up, and through light joke, without making fun of the other person, but rather taking the situation lighter, if making fun, if anything, of the situation.
It's safer to make fun of yourself a little bit.
Or of ourselves, not taking ourselves very seriously, not taking the situation very seriously. And then the other person has the option to accept the invitation to join a lighter space, rather than getting more trapped into that intensity of the conflict and the tension that just pulls the heavy rocks, attaches them to our feet and pulls us down. So So yeah, laughter could be one of the most entertaining ways of transcending, even spiritually, transcending illness, transcending pain. Actually, pain it's a very good one because when we are laughing, it also activates the brain pharmacy. And it activates all of those amazing chemicals in our brain, the endorphins, especially, or the happiness hormones. So
we become high on our own laughter.
that's it, exactly. We are getting high just literally through the power of laughter. So many benefits, but can you share more of your own, again, your own experience with laughter, and what have you noticed, and how people even react to that? And
Yeah, it's to me, for example, when I'm out doing chores and stuff, I like to impersonate or mimic. So yeah, like humor is such a multicultural element, and it manifests differently, right? So yeah, in my day to day, that's what I do is for example, if I don't want to take myself too seriously, I mimic and I speak in the kind of like the immigrant English.
I love that.
Yeah, like when I'm at the store and
So can you speak now in different accents? Now I love that when you do it.
yes, but just moment, have to get in the mood, yes. Or like when I go to ask for something, yes, hello, please, can I have this fish? Or thank you very much. Or like I'm a bit too hard. They don't maybe then they don't realize the act, and I get a smile. This guy's funny. He's a newcomer.
That's right.
What else can happen? If you yeah, or like so mimicking, basically I do this if you're talking to someone that their English is not very good, then you go back to very basic level of English. But then or this happens to you because mirror neurons we're all to a certain degree we're all mimicking each other, and that's kind of how we grow up. We learn to, so then if you're working with someone, inevitably you will start picking up some different things, like speech patterns, and you're going to talk to them in a similar way. So that's what else can I say? Own experiences.
About the especially this what you just mentioned now about the contaminating power of laughter. So laughter is contagious, as they say. Do you have any stories in mind about personal situations when you started laughing? I know, again, all my childhood friends, they will remember you for life. When Catalin starts laughing, everybody laughs. But have you noticed any other situations where people are laughing just because you are laughing with your full belly?
Yeah, like it's nice to imagine a situation where you're in a stressful situation in the world, out in the city, and then it becomes this comedy show. But it's in reality that doesn't really happen. Like in reality, it's more like you can make a little joke about something, or so laughter it's more than when you're with friends or close ones, and you're like around it having lunch or dinner table, that someone says something funny, and then so that becomes
and you're right that it actually takes courage sometimes to break into laughter and to feel kind of safe enough. That's why there is that saying that it's good to marry somebody that you can laugh with, right? Because that you will have a really good companion for life, and you might live even longer, and not only live longer but feel good about living. Then
have you met like couples that are like constantly funny with each other and making themselves laugh?
It's not that common, unfortunately.
common. Yeah,
But what I met are couples that they share stories, and they pick up on each other's stories, and it's that interaction. It's very entertaining, very. But yeah, in families, the power of laughter in families. So we often, can when life gets in the way and we start getting stuck, like one of the first symptoms, if you want, of things not being in balance when we can't remember the last time when we laughed together, right? So that's definitely a sign, and the science again shows that children, the younger they are, I think that when they're very young, they laugh like few, if I'm not mistaken, few thousand times a day.
Oh,
Which sounds like a lot,
yeah.
because the older we grow, again, after a while, it's sometimes, as sad as it is, it might be hard to remember when was the last time when I laughed with my whole body, my whole belly, right? And if it's hard to remember that time, then it's a sign that okay, I'm taking life too seriously here. I'm getting kind of trapped
Life
in
or
it.
yourself, or just previously we were talking about stories.
Exactly,
The
exactly.
story that we tell ourselves, if we take that too seriously, then we miss out on a lot of laughter, right?
Exactly. So it's a good reminder to say, okay, who are the people in my life now that I can still laugh with, out of the silliest silliness, and just laughing just because, without having a big reason for it, and connecting with those people, and connecting with those environments that foster this place where when we are laughing, we are actually ourselves. We are free, we break free, right? And
So, I see why a person that's holding back. So it's a laughter is a form of expression. So yeah, if
absolutely.
you're allowing yourself to be silly, then you don't care what other people think.
Exactly, exactly. So you are more authentic. You are yourself. You are more free from your need to I don't know, to depend on the perception of others over you. Right? It's like, okay, I can be myself. I can laugh. It's the degree of how much I can laugh is the degree of how much I allow myself to be myself, to be real, to be authentic. So I know our time is limited for today, but I have a story in mind about laughter that we can because our initial discussion was around stories, actually, and the power of stories, and then we went to the power of humor and humor to stories as well. Like when we share jokes are a form of story. Exactly.
That's why friends love to get together and have a beer or two, and then that makes loose, and then they just laugh after.
Exactly. So
they're there for the feeling and for the joy of laughter.
exactly. So jokes are short stories that like
right.
short intense vitamins of a laughter boost, of a humor boost, and a health boost as well. And you're saying that even getting high through laughing. Literally. So I have a story in mind that I was sharing with you this morning, but if you have one as well that comes to your mind, that would
Not
add.
at this time, sister.
Okay, a joke, no jokes at this moment.
Jokes. I'd love to host like an amateur comedy show one night. I guess the comedies I would tell would be like about Romanian weddings, sex, or something. Just
We should arrange for that. We should
something
have
cultural or something you could laugh. It's you can make those things up for sure. And I haven't practiced that art, but generally in comedy, and it's about the person holding some sort of level of tension. Or so, for example, if I'm telling you a joke, I have to hold your attention. That attention is, you're like, okay, there's tension, and then the punchline is the release of tension.
Yes.
So I guess that's you could say that's the similar of the sexual act, right? Tension, then release. It's interesting how, and then the body feels good. Interesting how
release of endorphins.
Correlate. Yeah,
when there is release of endorphins. So yeah, on the little story joke that I was going to share, and I shared with you early on, was around a more serious, existential question that we can take it very seriously, which is what's my life purpose, and what would make a life a well-lived life. right? So this is a powerful question that we each should ask ourselves to make sure that we have this life experience in a meaningful, not so much meaningful, but in a way that it's fully our choice. And in this way, I would choose to live it all over again rather than the time is passing. And then when I'm at the end of it, there is that joke actually that life, it's like a roll of toilet paper. The closer to the end, the faster it ends.
Oh.
About laughter. So the story was about this spiritual retreat actually, and the participants were highly evolved spiritual leaders. So the facilitator of the workshop, the theme was around what makes a life a well-lived life, right? And everybody had the chance to give their own answers, and there were these three greatest spiritual leaders in the group. So the first one is asked, and the exercise was for everyone to imagine that they are at their funeral. So we start to the end in mind. The body is in the casket, and everybody is around, gathered, family, friends, all the dearest ones, all the people that they had a chance to have a positive impact during lives, and that's what's left. Whatever we give, this is what's left beyond our life lived here.
Legacy.
Exactly, this is our legacy. Whatever we give through our presence, through everything, like a tree that gives the fruits, this is what's left behind us. So the first leader is asked, so sir, what do you want people to say when you will be in that casket, people around, what do you want to say about you and your life that would be satisfying to you, would give you the feeling that your life was fulfilled and it was the life that you wanted to live? So his answer was, I want people to, when I'm there in the casket, to say, first of all, that I was a good husband and a good father. Family was very important to me, and I want them, they are the primary people in my life, that I want them to remember my love, to remember those moments, everything that I gave from my heart to them. And then the community, the church, the people that in one way or another I touched their life. And I wish they receive that, and they will remember me by that. So that was a beautiful, meaningful answer. And then the next spiritual leader is answering the same question. And his answer was, you know what, my whole life I devoted to God and to humanity. And everything I've done, I position myself in the place of making sure that it's the most beneficial for everyone. I was able to let go of myself and to make sure that I put the greatest good above my own selfish good and the good of others. The highest good was my intention all the time. So I really wish that this will be received, and I would be able, that legacy of mine, of my life lived here, will be carried on. And that was another powerful answer that everybody was inspired by. Exactly. And then the third spiritual leader that everybody knew that he was the most renowned. He had a huge impact already on everyone, and everybody was kind of waiting for his answer to be inspired by, and maybe to take something from and continuing to live their own life in that way. So he was asked, and he said, so sir, imagine you are, and he pauses for a second. It's like, okay, so if I imagine myself at my funeral now, and everybody's around, the whole community, my family, and I'm there in the casket, what I really, really want them to say is, look, he's moving. So, so I hope this is a good joke, because sometimes I find myself, especially with my family, that I find something very funny, and before I have the chance to explain it well, I find myself laughing so hard that people don't get it why I'm laughing so hard, but then they start laughing.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that I guess that you'd want to work a bit on, that is to keep keep them interested enough for the punchline. So then that can deliver it more.
That's
better, more
right.
laughter.
So the art of storytelling and even joke telling, it's an art in
Yeah,
itself.
yeah,
And
I agree.
I would definitely want to learn the craft more and be able to say them in an even more powerful way.
And everyone has their own creative juju when it comes to jokes. Like, for example, Uncle Anton.
Oh,
His jokes were the ones that he learned from others, staying in line in the long communist lineups, and they were kind of like against the government, but in a funny way.
Bankuri, right? Like
Exactly.
as they were called, Bankuri. So those were jokes that
Politici, so with the political satire.
That's right. Or bancuri cu bulă. Also very funny. So we will be ending our dialogue here today, but hopefully we'll have more chance to come back to it with more humor, more jokes, more punchlines,
and more ways to kind of give you ideas of how to engage with this
and this is
high
actually
energy flow.
It is. It's one of the best ways to transcend conflict, to transcend illness, to transcend pain, and also to transcend our own levels of limited levels of consciousness and to lighten up and take flight and raise above through the power of humor and laughter. So actually, I will invite everyone, if you want to add in the comments to this video your own little humorous stories or jokes that would enhance our listeners' experience by again, stories and jokes are meant to be shared. Right. So otherwise, if we keep them for ourselves, we might repeat them at that time several times. But then we need an influx of more stories that and they are best experience when they are shared. There is so far that can go with your own laughter by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when it's shared and it's contagious, that's when there is the potluck of humorous energy that uplifts everyone. So please share your most uplifting jokes or experiences with humor and laughter that could be used by each of us. So thank you, Kata, for today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, everyone, and until next time.